everybody, welcome back to episode 3 of our Seesaw plus Canvas video series. Today we're going to focus on the creative tools available to you and your students in Seesaw. So here I'm looking at a picture of the Seesaw Creative Canvas, and they've labeled many of the tools that you can use. Up at the top you have undo and redo buttons. Down the side here you have at the top the label tool, and it has a T on it, so I typically just call that the T tool with my first grade students because that's a little bit easier for them to make the association. Then we have the microphone tool, and this is perhaps my favorite because not only can you hear what your students are saying, you can also see what they're doing on screen. So this is excellent for things like word problems. You can hear what they're saying as they process the problem, but you can also see what they're doing on screen as they move things or draw things or write equations. It's awesome. Then we have the photo tool, and this will allow you to take a photo from your device, or you can also upload a photo that's saved to your device. Down here we have shapes and backgrounds, and at the bottom there's the caption tool, and you can use text or voice with this. This is really awesome on the teacher end of things if you are assigning a multi-page activity where there are different steps to be followed on each page, because you can give those directions again at the bottom in the caption, and especially for our students who need read alouds, that's super important. And then we also have some drawing and annotation tools here, and you can use all of these different colors with your annotation and drawing tools as well as your shapes. And we're going to go back into my teammates class. So here we are. She doesn't have anything in her journal. We need to assign something to her class. I'm clicking activities. I'm going to click add and assign activity. She doesn't have anything saved to her library, so today we'll create something new. And the activity that we are going to create is called Getting to Know You. There's a section here where you can type instructions for your students, and you can also read them aloud. And if you wanted to add multimedia instructions or an example, this would be the place for that. So you could put a screenshot of the completed activity here to help your students understand what they need to do. Or sometimes I like to link to a read aloud or a review of a math skill so that my students have access to that learning content and can access it again from the instructions at the top of their screen, and I can show you more about what that looks like. Here we'll add a template for student responses. So if you click photo, your device will take a photo. Drawing gives you access to a blank Seesaw Creative Canvas. For video, you can take a video with your device or upload a video from your device. Upload is what I use probably 80% of the time, and this is where you're going to take files that you already have and upload it for your students to work on or annotate. A note gives you a big piece of notebook paper that your students can type on, and link would be linking to something outside of Seesaw. So some people link to choice boards or other activities outside of Seesaw. I've used this tool to link to Flipgrid before, but with Canvas, Flipgrid is an LTI, so it's like an app that's built into Canvas, and we won't need to use that for Flipgrid anymore. But if you are a teacher of older students and you have them creating websites or uploading a video somewhere and you need to have it linked back to you, this is a way that you could do that. So we're going to start by uploading something. I have a file on my computer that's called All About Me, and I made this in Canva. And now we're going to use the Seesaw Creative Tools to add some elements that our students can use to tell us about themselves. The first thing I'm going to add is a rectangle. And I'm going to add this blue rectangle right about here. I'm going to make it a little bit bigger because I'm going to ask my student to put a picture of themselves on the rectangle. Now I'm going to lock my rectangle in place so that my student does not move it. Next, I'm going to add some text, a picture of me, and I'm going to bring this box down because sometimes when your text box is up high on the canvas, you lose some of the features at the top. So moving it down shows you the style, and I'm going to change it to this one without the background. And then I'm going to select a color that matches my box pretty well because I want my student to know that the box, the rectangle, and the text go together. And then I'll make my fonts a little bit smaller so that they line up pretty well. And I'm going to lock that in place. My next item is going to be another rectangle. And this time I'm going to make it green. I'm going to slide my green rectangle down here, and I'm going to make this one long and thin and lock in place. Now I'm going to add text, and I'm going to make it green like the rectangle it goes with, and I'm going to write my name. And our students will use the pencil tool to write their name on this box. Locking that in place. I'm going to add another shape now, and this one will be a circle. I'm going to make my circle yellow. I'm going to make it a little bit larger than that. I'm going to lock my circle in place. And I'm going to make my text yellow. And I'm going to type my age. And I'm going to lock that in place. And then finally, I am going to add a heart. I'm going to make my heart white because I'm going to ask the students to color this in. Now that I think about it, I'm going to unlock and resize that circle because we'll need some more room for the heart. That back in place. All right, back to my heart. We're going to make this a little bit bigger. Lock in place. And then we'll add some text and make it white to match the heart. And we are going to call this my favorite color. We'll shrink that up and lock it in place. Now, before I press the green check to complete this creative canvas part of the assignment, I'm going to go back through and click on all of the elements to make sure that they are all locked. So if an element is not locked, you'll see the resizing circles, you'll see the turning circle, and you'll see the ... We don't want to see all of these things because then when our students are trying to add things, they might accidentally move it. So we're going to lock this in place. And it looks like everything else is locked. Okay, I'm going to press the green check, and that part is finished. Now we're going to go back to the instructions. So I have an image here that I'll share with you, and these are the Seesaw icon shortcuts. So this eliminates some of the thinking for your students when they're reading and trying to understand your directions, and this is especially important when our students are new to Seesaw. So if you're asking them to use the move tool and they don't know what that looks like and they have to think about, well, which tool is going to help me to move things, that makes things a little bit more difficult for them as they're trying to understand. When you are typing in directions, you can put in a word in between two colons and it will insert the icon when you save your directions. So I have some directions already typed up for this activity and ready to go. I am going to copy those and paste them in here. And when I save this activity, you'll be able to see those directions. So the directions are in here now. I always add voice instructions for my students whenever possible because my kids are little and they need to hear my voice, and that can be really helpful to them and to their families as they try to figure out how to do these things. So I'm going to add some voice instructions now. 1. Use the photo tool to take a picture of you. Put the picture on the blue rectangle. 2. Use the pencil tool to write your name in the green rectangle. 3. Use the label tool to type your age. Put your age on the yellow circle. 4. Use the pen tool to color the white heart with your favorite color. Use the mic tool to tell me your name, age, and favorite color. 6. Press pause when you are done recording. 7. Press check to add your recording to your work. 8. Press check to send the work to me, your teacher. And we'll pause. And when this is finished processing, you can listen back to the instructions. So we'll play just a few seconds of that. 1. Use the photo tool to take a picture of you. Alright, we're going to move on to the next part, and that is saving this and assigning it. I'm going to go ahead and assign this to the whole class. On Friday, we'll take a look at different ways that you can assign things. So I'm assigning to everybody in the test class, and I'll go back to class now. So now I can see here that it's been assigned. We have 0 responses. No one is waiting for approval, no drafts. No one has looked at this yet. So you could try this as a student here. I have my iPad logged in as one of my teammates' students, and I am going to show you from my iPad how a student would complete this. Yesterday, I told you about my teammate and how she is one of 15 siblings. What I did not tell you is that my father is one of her siblings. So I'm signed in as my father on my iPad, and I am going to complete this assignment as him. So I'm going to open QuickTime now, and you can see my iPad screen being projected here. And I am going to act as Timothy and complete this assignment. So Timothy has nothing in his journal. He hasn't completed anything yet. But if I click to activities, I can see that my teacher has assigned me something. And you can see now that all of those icons have shown up in the directions. Now I'm going to press add response. And I'm going to go through this activity as Timothy. So I know that my teacher asked me to include a picture of myself. I don't want to take a picture of me, but I do have one on here that I can upload. So here is a picture of my dad and I about 26 years ago, 27 years ago maybe. I know the next step my teacher asked me to do is to use the pencil tool to write my name. Timothy. The next step was to use my text label tool to type my age. And in this picture, I think my dad was about 33. And then again with this, you can press that ... change the style. I'm going to change that. Let's change the font too. Resize the box. Change the color. All kinds of things our students can do. The next step is to color with the pen tool. The heart, my father's favorite color, is gray. So I'm going to color in that heart with gray. And then my teacher wants me to tell her all these things too. So I'm going to click the microphone tool. My name is Timothy. My age is 33 years old. My favorite color is gray. Press pause. Check to be done. And check. And now I have turned in my work to my teacher. I am going to, now on the student side it says waiting for teacher approval. So I'll show you what that looks like. Going back to my teacher window here. If I go to the journal, I see down here that I have one unapproved post that I can review. And Timothy has sent in a post. Let's listen to him and see if we're going to approve this. My name is Timothy. My age is 33 years old. My favorite color is gray. All right, that's great. He followed all of the directions. There's a picture, he wrote his name, he added his age and his favorite color, and he recorded himself speaking. So we will approve this post. And then I'm going to go back to Timothy. all of his items have been approved. Okay. So yes, here in the journal space, here is his post, and I can like it. I can comment on it. Let's say, nice to meet you. All right. So that is one way to create an assignment. I got a question from one of our colleagues about uploading things to from Teachers Pay Teachers to Seesaw, and I'm going to show you that process in just a moment. But first, I'd like to show you something about your free account. So I'm going to go back to Assign Activity, and we're going to create something new. And I'm not worried about any of those things right now. I'm going to go right into a drawing. Down here in the bottom corner, you have this button that says Add Page. When you click that, it talks to you about a premium Seesaw account. With your free account, you don't have access to adding additional drawing pages, but when you upload something that you've purchased on Teachers Pay Teachers or something that you've made, you can add more than one page. So I'll show you what that looks like now. I'm going to upload a file that I own. I have something here on the desktop that I can share with you here. Now this is a great back to school community building file. There are 6 pages in the file. 10 is the maximum number of pages you could upload here. And some of these I don't want my students to see, like the cover or the directions, so I am going to remove these pages by clicking the ... and deleting. ... delete. ... delete. Here's a page my students can work on. You could also open a PDF editor and delete those pages ahead of time. So now I have my 3 pages that my students are going to complete. Check. Back to school. I'm not going to worry about directions because I'm going to delete this right away. So here's an assignment that my students can complete. They have 3 pages they can complete. So when you are uploading things to your free account, if you want more than just the one drawing page, I would suggest uploading a file like this, something that you own or something that you've made that has multiple pages. Again, 10 is your max, but in elementary school, I don't really see us doing 10 pages of anything in one sitting. 2 or 3 or 4 is probably where we're going to live. But that is one way that you can, with a free account, you can have more than one page for students to work on. We'll talk more about products from TPT and using them on Seesaw tomorrow when we explore the activity library, and Friday when I show you how to assign things to students. So this was a little overview of your Seesaw creative tools and how to use them with students and how to create assignments for your students. Again, tomorrow we are going to take a look at the community activity library, and on Friday we are going to look at different ways that you can assign things. You don't have to give it out to the whole class. All right, thank you so much for following along and for showing interest in Seesaw and for showing interest in integrating Seesaw with Canvas. Seesaw is something that I'm super passionate about, and I'm really glad to be sharing it with you.